All right, here we are.
I believe we are live, and I'm joined by Ultimata. Is that correct pronunciation?
Ultimata is usually how you pronounce it, but I think it's I think you can go either way.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. It's like a potato, tomato kind of thing.
We were actually talking about that earlier. That's about the way it goes too.
Right, so you're from Canada, Newfoundland, and Labrador. Do you want to tell us about how the band got together briefly, and what's it like at where you are now? Tell us about where you live.
Take it away, Cody.
Oh, sure. I think the band joined mostly because it was 3 of us and maybe Kyle, the drummer. He's not here today, but the 3 of us, I think he contacted people, started the idea, bounced it off me, bounced it off James, and then bounced it off Kyle. And we actually originally just formed to cover a few old metalcore tunes from maybe the early 2000s era. Killswitch Engage, Trivium, that kind of stuff. And it just kind of ended up taking off from there. We ended up writing a couple songs and playing them, doing a show.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a pain in the ass, isn't it? But you only just started, was it September last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was when we first started jamming together.
That's even being a bit generous. I would say we even probably November, really.
Yeah.
Right. So you telling me you
joined in January.
Cool. So let's might as well introduce yourselves as well. Introduce yourself to people watching, just who you are and what you do in the band.
I'm Nick. I play guitar. I write.
I'm Andrew. I do lead vocals.
I'm Cody. I also play guitar.
I'm James, and I play bass.
Cool. And the drummer's on the other side of the island.
Here tonight.
Who's the other one? You got 3 guitarists, and you got lead and 2
Yeah, we have a 3rd guitarist, and we have our drummer, of course. But
what does that add?
Both are a bit busy, so they couldn't make it here.
Because you don't see many 3 guitar bands, and anyone I know is like Iron Maiden. But what does that add to the actual? Where did that come from? Is it just that there was more guitarists, and you thought you might as well have a 3rd one or something?
I like the idea of maybe having the ambient layer, maybe octave chords, while there's a possibility of leads and riffs at the same times. So if you have 3 different things happening, for instance, on a record, a lot of times they can't really recreate that live. We kind of want to be able to recreate that same thing live. There's a lot of bands you'll find where they'll harmonize a riff, and in the background perhaps there's maybe a lead or some kind of just small octave chords happening. And that's, if you only have 2 people, you can't really truly recreate that. But with the 3rd guitarist, you can get that extra layer that's impossible unless you have backing tracks or something.
Right. So basically, you want to do anything you can do in the studio. You want to be able to recreate it live.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, maintain the thickness of the sound.
Yeah.
That's good. Right. So you've only started. So you've only been a full band since. Would you say someone joined in January? Did you say?
We had Cody join in January.
Right. So you've only 6 months, and most of them have been locked down. What's the lockdown been like there? Has it really messed you around? Because you said you got 1 single out so far, which obviously we're going to talk about. But have you been able to write any other stuff, or is this the first time you've been in the room together?
The record is completely written.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of in the recording phases right now, and just touch-ups and, all the final parts of it, really.
So how many tracks is that?
Coming in 2 months, maybe.
All right. How many tracks have you got for the recording of the album?
I think there's 8, plus there's 2 interludes.
Yes. Yeah, that's
so. Right. How long did it take you to write them? That's pretty quick going, isn't it? Was you writing it all the while the lockdown was on? Was you writing? Have you been
I've had songs written since 2015. That maybe a little bit before that I've just been kind of sitting on, and a lot of them were just old tracks and stuff that I ended up reconstructing into actual songs instead of just staying as an idea.
Right.
Yeah. So it was pretty fast.
Yeah. So the songs that you already had together, did the other guys get a chance to put their 6 pence in kind of and add bits to it, or did anyone say that's rubbish? We don't want to do that one. Can we change that?
Oh yeah, I definitely threw some songs at the guys that they weren't big fans of.
Yeah.
I wrote most of the stuff for the band, but there are little stuff that the other guys contributed as well when it comes to the actual instrumentation of it. Andrew writes all the vocals and stuff, and takes care of that aspect completely.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's nice that you send us the song, and then you kind of just leave it open. And if a part we come up with works, then it works.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
My understanding is it's almost like they get a structure, and you stick to that that structure of the song. But what you do in the gaps, as long as it adheres closely to the structure, you can work within that realm and put your own personal flair on it.
Cool.
That's me as a vocalist, not as an instrumentalist speaking, though. So
There's
I'm
also-
talking for the guys.
There's also
Yeah.
been many instances where I've sent like maybe something that I thought was cool personally, it probably could fit, and the other guys they just like completely weren't feeling it. So
All right. So
but
you know,
maybe I remember in particular one of our songs called Silent Citadel. It has a chorus in it that came from another idea that I had that I threw at the guys, and they were kind of like, that part's good, but the rest of it, So we kind of work that into something else, make it fit a little better.
yeah.
Trim the
So
fat.
yeah, that's a good way to do it, though, isn't it? It's a good way to work things out, throw them against the wall, see what sticks, and that kind of thing.
Well, there's 6 guys, so everybody has their own personal tastes that are outside of just what genre of music we make, right? Which is like the metalcore sound.
Yeah.
So we all bring our own personal flair to it, and with 6 minds combined, we're trimming the fat constantly, bit by
Trim the
bit.
fat and boiling steak.
There you go.
And because, like you saying, you live on this this place you live, is it quite not much population there, or is it very population dense where you're living? I mean, are you the only 6 metalheads on the island, or?
We are the only metal band in town.
At the moment, yeah.
There was another metal band here until last month that I was actually also a member of. That's how it goes. But there are other bands on the island. They're just all on the other side.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're about an 8-hour drive away.
Right. So you're like the village people, like neighbours kind of thing.
Basically.
Yeah.
What's the population of Cornerbrook right now?
I think it's like
20K-ish?
16K, 17, yeah, somewhere in that range. I think
Right.
there's roughly 500,000 odd for the island total.
Right. So about I live in London, so that's probably quite small for where I am. Yeah. Not London, Canada. Not the fake London in Canada, but the real London in England.
Yeah.
So, is there anywhere like to play on the island? I mean, you gig local? Is there a scene there? You got lots of people who want to come to gigs and that, or
Yeah.
There isn't really much of a scene, but we do get turnouts for shows. Like when we do gig, we do get like somewhere between like 70 to like 100 people that'll turn out, which is okay considering there is no scene here.
Well,
Yeah.
we discussed renting a place for a show that we'll put off. So we're kind of trying to work and make our own scene. Because if we can make a place for people to go and listen to it, people will show up. Because there isn't really anywhere else to go to hear this kind of music.
Mm.
The bars
And
were
we-
usually pretty receptive, though. The last show we played in December was at an arcade.
Yeah.
The only show you played.
Is that the only show you've done so far? Is it?
Yeah, we only got that one show in before lockdown and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
COVID really hit us at the worst time possible because we had just began recording the song.
Yeah.
And we were ready to we had, a lot of the tracks and everything ready to go. We had a set list. We were ready to shoot out of the gate. And then the whole world was like, nah, y'all stay inside now.
Well, we had 7 shows lined up this summer?
I'd say at least, yeah.
I was lining up a music festival here in Cornerbrook, all original music from across the island, right? And it was going to have about 30 bands all right here. Because the scene here in Cornerbrook, from what I heard, I've only lived here for 5 years, used to be crazy. But it's sort of dried up. There's a few here and there that pop up in Cornerbrook, but then they almost die out as soon as they come in. So I figure if you brought in everybody from across the island and held it all right here in Cornerbrook, it would kind of inspire some people when they come out and see the show. Be like, hey, I'm a bedroom guitarist, but after seeing these guys jam, I really want to get out there and get something on the go, which strengthens the scene, creates more demand for the music, right? Local original music. And then we have more place to play. It benefits everybody, right?
Yeah, if it's not there, you've got to make it yourself. Simple as that, and get people in. Like get people from other parts of Canada to come and play there, and grow it yourself if there's no one else doing it. That's the only way to.
Just open the doors.
Yeah. So you're doing quite. So tell us about your first single. When did you release that? And so I take it that you write all the lyrics. I forgot to sing the guy's name now. But why Voiceless?
Well, the name Voiceless, we played around with a couple. We had some placeholders, but we ended up deciding on Voiceless because it's the main line in the chorus. It goes voiceless, heart for the heartless, mind for the mindless. Revolution starts with you, And the theme for the song is kind of like finding the strength within yourself to project your will upon the world, kind of deal, right? It's got like a really like a grandiose theme, right, which is open to interpretation among anybody who listens to it, right? That dropped on July 24th. We spent, how long did we spend hyping that up?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah. We tried to sit down and come up with a really good way to market our first single. We wanted to try and push it out there as professionally as we could. As a band who this is our first single, we're totally independent, right? So we started doing like almost like a video series leading up to the drop of the song, right? Where it's we were taking it was almost like headshots, like mug shots, right? Everybody be given their favorite look, right? Like Blue Steel, right? To the camera, and it'd be like almost like a black and white type of deal. Anyways, it was really cool, right? And we tried to come up with creative ways to basically increase our media presence and strengthen our reach so it gets shared around, that when the single drops, everybody knows it's out. Because that's the issue I find with a lot of bands when they drop their first song, is it's like, hey guys, we're dropping a song tomorrow, right? We want you guys to know in advance, it's coming, be ready, right?
Mark your calendar.
Yeah.
Well, I think the song warranted it too, and especially given the fact that we can't go out and play, we have to make sure that it gets out every way possible, right? So we make sure it's all over the place on Facebook, it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify. So we want to get as many ears on it as we can, because we can't go and bring it to people, you know?
Exactly.
I can't believe you've not done a TikTok video for it yet. If you guys like busting some moves or something, that's the big thing now, isn't it?
It's on there, just nobody's used it yet.
Oh, it's on there. It's on there. Awesome. Okay, cool. So you've had like quite a lot of streams, impressive number of streams. You was telling me.
Yeah,
Tell
we
us
hit
about that.
10K actually in our first month, which is pretty
Like
okay
2
for
days
a
ago,
debut.
Yeah.
Was that Spotify?
2 days ago we hit that 10K mark.
And 2 days ago would be the I think
Right,
the
the
month anniversary of our release.
Yeah.
That was on Spotify, was it?
Yeah,
10
we hit 10K on Spotify. We hit 6K on YouTube, and I think we hit somewhere around 5K on Facebook.
Yeah.
What do you put that down to? Where was you sharing it out for people to find it on Spotify?
Facebook was definitely our biggest thing for like gathering our followers.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. We put a lot of money, well, not a lot of money, but we put a nice bit of money into ads across a couple platforms to try to reach out a little more, which helps a little bit. Like I don't know how much that really helped us. I think with you can't put ads on Spotify, so it's hard to get people to click into that, you know?
Yeah.
But with YouTube, we were able to grab a couple followers through ads, or at least it seems visible that we were able to do that.
No, we definitely
Right.
did.
And then like both me and Nick are in various like metal groups on Facebook, and you know those groups are like where they constantly want to hear new underground music because everybody wants to be the first person to discover a new band, right? So if you're constantly plugging your music in those groups and it hooks somebody, then they're telling their friends, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of those groups on Facebook are really tight-knit. So I picked up a few people through there who were spreading word about it as well, right? Just general word of mouth with a little bit of money put into advertising to give us that extra reach outside of our circles. Really helped.
As far as Spotify goes, we had, I think, close to 2,000 to 3,000 hits. And that happened within our first 3 weeks. And after that, we landed on like some sort of newly discovered algorithm. And that really helped push us a nice bit.
Yeah.
I think actually close to like 75 to 80% of our reach on Spotify is through algorithms in Spotify.
No. Sort
so
of
we
about knowing the
actually
technology. Yeah. I'm always looking at the, like, I call them anal lick tits, but it's anal analytics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about that, isn't it, nowadays? But I mean, there's a lot of controversy about Spotify, about they don't pay people enough money. I mean, you're a bit far off maybe from getting a payment there, but what do you think about that and the way the new technology? I mean, you guys have been in bands before, but how far back do you go? Do you go back to tape trading and handing out flyers, or has it always been technology when it's come to your bands?
For me, technology stuff, Spotify has always been around since I've been playing music. James, not so much.
Yeah.
James has been playing music for like 20 years.
Yeah. The first band I played in that recorded, it was pretty much, we were burning off CDs. Like we would go to the corner store and buy blank CDs for 99 cents and taking them and popping them in the CD drive and burning our 4 shitty songs onto it and sticking them in a backpack and handing them out around high school. And never went the cassette route. You went the cassette route with Trash Juice.
Yeah, with Trash Juice, we did a limited run of cassettes. So we had our music up on Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube, all platforms. But we also did a limited run of cassettes. So actually what we did was we went to the Downtown Entertainment, which is a store here in town where you get like used CDs, video games, that kind of deal. Bought a bunch of used cassettes and redubbed them over using a cassette writer that we got from Walmart. Dubbed over the cassettes, put our own inserts in the cases, right? Because we got them for like 20 cents, right? And then we returned the tape writer to Walmart when we were done with it, got our money back, and we had our limited run of collector's cassettes, right? And that was cool. People, we sold the cassettes and the shirt and the album in a little bundle, right? So that was neat. But yeah, surprisingly, a lot of people are into buying cassettes lately, right? And I find it does have a different sound to it, especially where like we were playing hardcore punk, so it has that kind of raw edge. You know what I mean?
That works sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that worse sound, right? That worse good sound, right? In a good way.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of nostalgia going on with the old, because in my day it was demo tapes. It's all about demo tapes, and people think that they appreciate the sort of, I don't know, the aesthetic of it or something like that for some reason. Let's go back a bit, talk about the single again. Where did you record it? Is it you all home recording, or have you got a studio there?
All in my bedroom.
Bucktown Records.
I did it all. I did it all in my bedroom, man. It took a while. A billion takes because things just never sounded clean enough.
Yeah,
and it kind of drove me mad, to be honest. The other stuff's not going to be so hard on the brain, but just trying to make sure everything was nice and tidy was a bit of an issue for some parts of that song.
There was definitely more time put into the production than it was into the actual tracking and recording.
There was.
We tracked the guitars fairly quickly.
Yeah, there was a couple riffs that I had to re-record the song 3 or 4 times though. But the actual final take of the song, we probably recorded the guitars in maybe like 2 hours.
All right.
But, I think the first couple takes was like a few weeks, really just ironing out the other recordings before we.
And the rest of it was focused on making sure it sounded as good as we could get it when we put it out. Because, I mean, I don't know. I think we share the mindset that, I mean, if we're going to do this, we don't want to half-ass anything. So if we're going to put something out to the public, we want it to sound as good as we possibly can get it to sound.
And like every other band in the scene of like, you know, like that whole like metalcore, modern metal scene, it's all about really having that nice production these days. And just, I know that things can kind of sound a little polished, a little plastic with modern metal, but not having that nicely produced product can really, I don't know, maybe hinder your reach a little bit, especially when you're first debuting something new and you're trying to hit that certain audience that, you know, you're catering to this audience that all likes this genre of music.
Well, you want it to sound polished, but you also want it to have that little bit of grit on it so it still sounds real.
Yeah.
I think the vocals in the track helped that. Because I think the vocals were really, really raw, like gritty.
In your face.
Yeah. You know? So I think that over the top of the, you know, the polished guitar production, or as polished as we could get it.
Yeah.
Right? I think that just added an extra aspect to the song.
Yeah. There's something to be said though for like recording your own stuff, because you're not happy with a take, you just carry on doing it over and over again until you're happy.
Yeah. Oh man, so many takes. The main riff repeats like so many times. So like just to make sure the main riff was clean, so you have every time it repeats, it sounds great, you know.
Yeah, so I learned I need to listen to a metronome a lot more.
Did you all do it individually then, or you got a big bedroom where you all went in and recorded at the same time with loads of mics set up, or was it like one instrument at a time recording?
We plugged directly into an interface and used everything digitally. Like we did everything was done through digital means actually. But what happened was after I sent my DI, which the direct input of my music of the guitar, I sent it to a guy who he has like nice like cab simulators and stuff. He can run it through an actual cab for us and make it sound really good. Yeah, like my demo version of the song versus his version of the song, kind of night and day. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's bloody technology I didn't even know existed. It's so bloody moved on so much nowadays. There's so many people who just record it at home because they can. And it's just people don't have to be in the fucking same country anymore to like be on the same album.
Yeah,
Well, this is my first actual recording experience. Aside from stuff I tried to do when I was younger, and that was all with like a old Fostex digital 8-track recorder or something where you had to actually layer everything manually with the little freaking screen on it, and it was just dials and sliders, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing with it. And then when we sat down and recorded the guitars, I was like, man, this is way easier than I used to try to do this. Way easier. Right?
Do you, okay, here's a controversial question. Is it cheating?
Yes and no.
He says it is. He says it is. I don't, because I am under the I don't know the word, not the impression, but I truly believe that if you can play it live and you can play it, then there isn't like, why wouldn't you want it to sound super clean on your like your version that you're giving to people, you know?
That's the key point for me too. As long as you aren't falsely selling yourself, making, say for example, if you got double kicks up the ass, fucking lightning speed, crazy blast beats, but you're never going to be able to do that live, that's cheating, I think.
Yeah.
Right? But why wouldn't you use the tools available to you to make the recording process easier? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I can understand wanting that organic feel, but I think for our type of music, it's the way to go, right? It definitely makes it far less of a headache, right? But say it lends better to different genres. Like when I was playing hardcore punk, we mic'd up all of our amps, and we'd record our demos all in the same room, just like you were saying, right? All hooked up to the same interface, just like a live jam, almost, right? But for this type of metal, where we want it to be as polished as possible, is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I think nowadays and age, it's more about what the aesthetic demands. You know, if you're really going for that raw feel, then you probably should mic everything up and try to get that, that ambient sound and stuff when you're doing the recording. But I mean, if you're trying to get the type of sound that we're shooting for, you almost have to use what's at your disposal.
There's so many layers; it'd be so muddy.
It'd be really hard if we had to get every single instrument and get it all laid out, right?
Yeah,
it'd take a hell of a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What did you do with the drums? How do you do the drums? Are they like electronic and like plugged in?
Programmed. I
Ah.
programmed them because I programmed the first, and then our drummer went in and programmed it to the way that he actually plays it.
Right. I see.
Yeah, I don't know how to program drums that well, but I know enough to get an idea across. But then he'll end up changing it to the way he plays songs, and that's pretty much how it goes.
How did you actually record it? Because you say July you got it all finished, but have you got like a recording studio there, or you just playing in your room?
No, we physically sat in my room and recorded it right like on my computer chair.
When you're writing it, when you're putting it together, it's just have you ever been in a room practicing in a live kind of way? You did one gig, didn't you? You said already.
Yeah.
So where do you go when you're practicing for live gigs?
Yeah, we've played that song live, and we've practiced that song quite a bit live together. We play it quite a bit.
Yeah,
Would you go to
a jam once or twice a week
in a studio or just in your room?
Just we have a practice space down in our vocalist's basement.
My basement.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
that's actually when I heard that song live, because I went to the first show, because I mean I know the guys anyway.
Yeah.
And I went up to them after. I said, "What song is that? Like that song was awesome."
Ass Eater.
Yeah.
It was titled Ass Eater back then.
That was its placeholder name.
It was titled Ass Eater. And, it was Ass Eater, and then it was Carcinogenesis, and then it was Voiceless.
Yeah. But when they told me that it was an original song, I was like, what? And our other guitar player was like, yeah, Nick wrote that. And I was like, no shit. So I was like, hey guys, you ever need somebody to carry your gear or whatever? Like, you need a hand? Like, and then they said they were thinking about with a third guitar player. So I said, okay.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So tell us about your previous bands. You said you was in the hardcore punky kind of band, and you was in a band as well. Can't remember anybody's names. I'm used to some names. Just put your name
James
underneath.
Was in a couple bands. I was in a heavy metal band, and by heavy metal I mean like heavy metal. Like
the old school style.
Like not so much like, I don't know,
my kind of metal.
I don't know really how to nail Sludge Fist's sound, but they're kind of like a thrash heavy metal
kind of power sludge.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say you can easily hear all the old school influences very, very easily, and it was interesting sounding. but you can definitely hear what was taken from where, kind of thing.
How did you get to the sound and the style of band that you're doing now? The metalcore DJent as well. Is it DJent? It says somewhere progressive.
Gent. Yeah,
Gent.
I've never known how to pronounce that. I'm an old fucker, so I've no idea.
Just think of it like gentlemen, you know?
Yeah.
Are we gent?
I don't really know for gent. People throw us in there, but
yeah, it's hard to.
I think if I were to nail our
jazz fusion, right?
If I were to nail our genre, I think we said somewhere between like deathcore and metalcore.
Yeah,
like a little melodic.
Yeah, it's like metalcore with deathcore vocals.
I don't know how I got here. The last few bands I played in were pop punk. Like we were covering Green Day and Blink-182. I just wanted to play, and I was talking to Andrew, and I was like, "Hey, like I'm aching to get on stage again. Can we please like jam soon, start a band?" And he was like, "Yeah, I know some guys."
Yeah,
cool.
I think our sound is almost a really, really good amalgamation of everything we like listening to.
For sure.
It really is a melting pot, because like what I add to a song is from my influences, and then what Nick writes is from his, the way Andrew sings is from his, what Matt adds to it and Kyle adds to it are from the bands that they like. So it does really sound like, you know, a good mix of everything from the early 2000s up until, you know, the last couple years, right?
Yeah, we like to say it's got that like that early to mid 2000s metalcore sound with like a modern polish.
I think our roots are there
mm-hmm.
in the late 2000s, kind of, because everything's got like that real drive to it. There's not a lot of like real slow plodding kind of music. Everything is very fast paced for the most part. Yeah, it is really high energy. And even when we choose to do covers, we try to pick things that either we can turn into that or something that is already in that vein, right?
Our thing is whenever we play covers, we always end up playing it like 20-25% faster.
Yeah.
So we were like, we're going to play that but faster and heavier.
Basically.
So your natural instinct is to blast it and to thrash it out of it.
Yeah.
Cool.
You get more in the groove when you play faster, we find. We find that we fuck up more when we try to play it at normal speed, right? Play it faster,
cool.
Perfect.
Yeah. And you play super fast, no one knows when you made a mistake, because, you know.
There you go.
Exactly.
Low's it Sky Kyle says, handsome group of fellas there, if I say so myself.
That's our boy.
Yeah. Right. So you say you've got an album's worth of material all written. You gonna record it in the same way, or have you already started recording it?
I have started recording it. It's not very far along yet. It's definitely still in its very early stages. It's probably going to be a couple months before it's fully recorded, because I want to make sure everything is really good with it.
Yeah.
I'll take my time making sure everything sounds nice.
Well, and luckily the way we do it too, it won't take long to finish piecing everything together.
Yeah.
It's more like just once we get the sound we want, the levels we want, everything straightened away, it's just lay down the tracks and just piece it together.
Yeah.
And we've got our workflow down now after being through it the first go around. Now we know what we got to do.
Yeah, you got a better idea of the process of putting it all together.
Yeah, that's right.
And we know not to make the mistakes that slowed us down the first time around.
Right.
Like I was pretty much recording illiterate, and when I was screaming into the mic, I had no idea what gain was. So I was constantly clipping my vocals. They'd be like, "You got to do it again," and I'm like, "Fuck, guys, right?" And it gets to the point where it's like I'm here, Mike is here, gains dropped to like -10, right? Now that ain't clipping.
Right. Okay. So tell us about the other songs that are coming up. What other songs can we expect? We've had Arse Eater, which I think is a much better name than Voice List. I mean, if you've got a mouthful of arse, you can't talk anyway with a mouthful of arse, can you? So, you know,
we were concerned about the markability of that.
I thought it would sell better, personally.
I was on the fence.
Personally, I think Voiceless might be our second worst song. Like,
yeah.
If I were to throw it like
under the bus,
if I were to give it my honest opinion compared to the other material, I would say it's our second worst song. But I would also say it's like kind of like a straight to the point kind of song too. So
I would agree with that though, because like both as a fan and as someone who's playing the songs, like a lot of our other songs have a riff that like as we're about to get to that riff in the song, I get excited to play it.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's the key with our music. It is actually very fun to play, and a lot of it is still kind of challenging. So it's actually taking work to perfect it. So we're not we're not slacking off and trying to write cliche things. We're trying to actually, I guess, push the envelope as much as we can.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Be creative.
We've gotten like Narcissist. That's a slower song.
It's our only slow song. Really.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
a
our
metal
only slow
ballad,
song. Yeah,
really.
But it's got a very what would you say, like creepy atmosphere to it.
Yeah.
Was it slow in a heavy slow way or in a ballad way? Did you say?
Yeah, I'd say it's a heavy.
It's both.
Yeah.
There's a permeating guitar line that runs through the whole song, and it just kind of gives you that mood. And then the guys just add these like crushing guitar riffs on top of it, and then we have a breakdown that's probably the best thing we have.
Yeah.
That
Right.
breakdown
It's my
is
favorite riff.
it's one of my two favorite riffs we play.
Yeah.
So do
I
you
would think
think?
other songs are more melodic focused than voiceless as well? Like there's definitely some melody in voiceless, like in the chorus and stuff, but the main riffs are definitely a little bit void of that. I think
a
that
lot
the
of that
other
was
stuff,
after, because most of that was finished after I joined, so you knew you had a third
I had that song wrote since
You know.
2015 for the most part. Besides,
voiceless.
yeah.
But the other stuff kind of came together during and after I joined, so we knew we could really layer things.
Yeah, that's what I
There's
was
always-
wondering.
There's
Maybe-
always a point where one of us is doing something different to add to, so it's a very thick guitar sound.
Yeah, because I say that maybe the voices isn't so good because it was the first one you did. You didn't have so much time to play with it and add new things to it and put your own stuff in there. So do you think that's possibly why the other songs are better because you've had more? And now you're recording them now. Are there likely to be any more changes, or are they all like set in concrete now? No more changes.
No, nothing is ever set in concrete.
No,
Nothing
never.
is ever set in concrete. Things are always open to creative vision for sure.
Until it's released,
Yeah.
we can still tweak
I'm not going to
things.
lie, I already play a certain part in voiceless different.
But yeah, it's nothing is really ever set in concrete until the final mix, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you're always working on it up to the last minute when it's actually recorded.
Yeah, like I had wrote most of Voiceless in 2015, 2016, but I remember when I was adding I programmed like small keys and things under the mix. You can't really hear that much when you're listening to it, but it's there. There's like little
it definitely adds to
little
it, yeah.
choirs and things that are happening. It's like in the breakdowns and stuff that if they were there, you probably would have noticed. If they weren't there, you probably would have noticed it too much. But if you had to hear it get removed, you would definitely hear it. You know.
Yeah, it's very subtle, but it's there. You might not even know you're hearing it, kind of.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
And I've added a lot of that in during the very final stages of the song was written for ages, and at the very last part of recording, I decided to add these little MIDI effects under that would help enhance the riffs. You know.
And with TNS that we're going to be putting out, hopefully October.
Yeah. Our next song hopefully is coming out around a month.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's our most least straightforward song. I think that's our, for lack of a better word, proggiest.
One of them for sure.
Because it really kind of does go all over the map, and there's I don't know, there's every element of metal in there.
Yeah, that song's
Really.
got a lot of riffs.
Yeah.
It's definitely all over.
But
the place.
it's very.
It was the hardest for me to learn.
Yeah, it is.
I-
It's actually a difficult song. Yeah.
Are you going to be able to remember it when it comes to doing it live?
Oh yeah,
you know it.
I have it. We practice it every week, and we have it pretty. Pretty tight now. But man, we were trying to make that song work for our first performance, and it was just not happening. Man, it was so hard for everyone. But now that it's been 6-7 months that we've been practicing it consistently.
Yeah.
It went from being my least favorite song to play to being my favorite.
Yeah, just being able to play it.
Yeah, you don't dread it anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Did you
hated it
guys-
because it was so hard, but now that we have it down, I love it.
Yeah, okay. You didn't ever speak behind his back and say, "Why the fuck did he write it this difficult for? Why couldn't you made?
No,
Why couldn't you
tell
made it
him.
easier?"
Yeah, we tell him to his face.
We have a song we're calling Fatality for right now, and when because the way Nick does it, he'll write everything out in Guitar Pro and he just sends it to us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
as soon as I got the tab, I just messaged him like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
why are you doing this to me? Like, do you know how hard this is going to be for the three of us to play this at the same time?"
Meanwhile,
Come on.
it's the easiest song we have on
Yeah,
bass.
all right, good.
Maybe you can put a suit together for repetitive strain injury against him, like in a couple of years' time when you were suffering from repetitive strain injury, to get your lawyers
That's
on him
actually
for making.
But it's actually that's my favorite riff we have.
Yeah, it's
The main riff in Fatality. That thing is fucking killer.
Right.
And it's gonna be killer to even learn it.
Yeah, it's going to be really good to put all this up. We haven't practiced that one a whole lot yet.
No.
Right.
That's not one that we haven't put that one in the cycle yet, but it is written. It can be heard. Like it is in listenable format right now. It just hasn't been practiced in a live setting too often. We actually haven't started practicing that one yet.
No,
aside from the instrumentals, we got 2 songs left that we got to get down.
Yeah,
right.
Three songs left we have to get down. We have 5 of them done, and the 2 instrumentals, of course, that are just there.
Yeah.
But the other songs are still not included in our cycle for playing live, mainly because I want to make sure that, like I spoke before about programming, like MIDI effects, keys, that kind of stuff, little bells and whistles. There's a lot of those to be had in the songs we haven't learned yet to cycle into our live shows. The other songs we can get by pretty much just fine without having those bells and whistles. But with these with these last 2-3 songs that we have, there are program parts like keys and stuff like that I would like to have in a live show. We don't have a keyboard player, so we're kind of looking into in-ear monitors, so that way we can have like a backing track through front of house with just like a slight keyboard track going while we're playing.
And we don't want to play it if it's not going to be as tight as we can.
Yeah.
If we can't go to a show and play it the way it is on the album, I don't want to play it live.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure it's the same experience. I mean, we might be just starting out, but like I said, like we don't want to half-ass anything. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, if you've got 3 guitars for the purposes of being able to do anything in the studio you can do live, then might as well stick with that ethic.
Exactly. We're going to make sure that we can get it right.
Yeah. Got somewhere in chat called Nightmare Frontier. A couple of questions. I don't know if you can see them at all. First,
maybe you got to click that over there. Comment.
It says, "Are you the guys that sings the night Pat Murphy died?" I have no idea what that means.
No, but maybe we can add it into the cover rotation.
I'm still saying we do Mary Mac by Great Big C.
Yeah.
Well, look at this.
That's a hill I'm
He
not
also said, "Oh my God, Great Big C."
I'm telling
Does
you.
that mean anything to
People
anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not even sure who that is.
Great Big C is they're a traditional band, a lot of Celtic influence from the province. They're probably the biggest band that's ever come out.
Definitely the biggest band to come out.
Alan Doyle.
Yeah, and so the night Pat Murphy died is one of their songs.
Ah, okay. And someone else called Jimmy Romantic who says Kyle has a small bird.
I wonder who that is.
That's me.
Okay, that's weird.
I'm just making fun of our drummer.
Oh, okay. Right. So let's go for talking about the song lyrics. So all the lyrics are written for the release now, are they?
All the lyrics are written and ready to go. Lyrical patterns are pretty well solid, but some of them are going to need a little bit of ironing out. So I might need to do a little bit of trimming when we start practicing them live. But all the lyrics are written. Again, it's just formatting it for how we play it live.
Yeah.
Because how I think it's going to go in my head when I'm writing the lyrics isn't the same as when we're jamming it. Because when I write, I don't really think about how I breathe and stuff like that. And you need to leave room for you to breathe. I can write the most creative vocal lines possible, but if I'm going to run out of breath when I'm actually spitting it, then that's going to ruin the whole thing.
Yeah. So what's the subject matter? How do you approach writing a song? Do you think I want to sing a song about this, and then you make a song about that, or is it something? How do you go about deciding what each song's going to be about?
So in a way, the album, I kind of unintentionally made a concept album. I think of a story, and then I write the lyrics to fit that narrative, right? I think of a theme, whether it's war or whether it's like interplanetary domination or cults, right? And it starts with something like that, just a brainstorming word, and then a web just kind of emerges from that, and I build from there. We got a few songs that kind of lyrically flow into each other, right? So I almost unintentionally made a narrative that travels throughout the songs. But yeah, when I write songs, I do write occasionally things from a personal perspective that pertains to me in my life. But for the most part, it's like I'm writing a narrative, right? I'm trying to paint a picture with my words of the story I want to tell, right? Because I was really big on creative writing and stuff like that when I was younger. I used to write all kinds of short stories, horror, fiction, fantasy, whatever. I was a big R.A. Salvatore or Harry Potter nerd as a kid and whatever, right? So that carries over into when I'm writing my lyrics. I'm writing a story.
Yeah.
It's a comedy.
It's about comedy.
I can't read.
Okay, so so you said sci-fi. I mean, what sort of things? Do you have any fantasy or sci-fi? Any books that you've read that influence, other than Harry Potter? I mean, you got any Harry Potter songs in the set yet? Or
So I read a lot of Stephen King, right? Like I've read like The Stand, and I've read like Doctor Sleep and The Shining, all that fun stuff. But mostly in terms of like the style of my writing, I like to write like more leaning towards the fantasy sci-fi stuff, like you said, right? So
yeah,
I read a lot of R.A. Salvatore, who writes for the essential for Forgotten Realms, right? Which is essentially like the Dungeons and Dragons universe,
Yeah.
elves, orcs, all that fun stuff. And his writing style, it just really stuck with me, the way you could really like get inside a character's head, and also the way how he writes like battle scenes, like sword duels and stuff like that. It's crazy, like how he could paint a picture with words, and you could see like a battle unfold in front of your eyes, kind of deal, like in your mind. So that's kind of how I write stuff.
Okay, right. What's the next single coming up? You said a couple of months. Did you say?
We're looking for early October, hopefully. I want to make sure everything sounds really nice first. It could be 2 weeks more, maybe a little bit less, possibly. I don't know, but
we're shooting middle of October.
I am shooting for early October. That's what we're going for. It would be sick to have it then. That would probably give us around 2 months of sizzle off our first single. That way that we can have something new to give to people. And then hopefully people like that, they'll go back and check out our first single and,
And have you got anything planned to push it out there? Like more videos?
Yeah, we definitely have. We had a dynamic video for like a dynamic audio reacting video for the last one, but for the next one we have something a little better in mind for sure than just like a video that's reacting to the audio as a still image.
Yeah, we're probably gonna come up with a different way of approaching the whole social media campaign leading up to the single release too.
Can't do that twice.
No, you can't do the same trick. Yeah, that's right.
So you brainstorm together and say this is what we're going to do. And also it sounds like you're all involved in that as well. Quite often with bands,
kind of like a process of like we vote on everything.
Yeah, it's totally a democracy. Except there's 3v3 sometimes.
When 3v3 happens, it's a little like, who's going to compromise?
We'll have band meetings where we'll go out for supper together, and the 6 of us will be sat to a table with a pen and paper and just spitballing ideas, jotting things down.
We're trying to stay. We're trying to stay as focused as we can to make sure we don't fall behind on anything, because we don't want to build all this up to an album release and then shit the bed on it.
Yeah. So you plan things. You have like planned posts and that kind of thing on all your socials. Like
we have right now. Of course, we don't, because there's nothing right now. We're not releasing anything within like the next couple of weeks, so we don't have anything like planned posts. But when the time does come for us to start our marketing campaign, start our releases, all that type of stuff, we do have our plan posts. Then
we're more operating in single cycles now as opposed to album cycles. It's a couple months at a time, and we're a month out of Voiceless, so I mean it's on the downturn, and then we'll get ready to come back.
Yeah, you got to get something to get everyone back interested again.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
it's key to try and keep the audience as warm as possible in that in between time. So, like for example, we had a merch giveaway. We just gave away a free hoodie to somebody who did one of those like, share, comment, follow us on Spotify contest type of deal. Yeah, right? So that kept us going. It's these little things that you can do to like almost like give back to the fans, or like just interact with the community of followers you have, that could keep your audience warm and your name in their minds.
And at the same time, we're trying to like keep our releases like a little bit panned out from each other, so that way we can maximize our reach towards everyone. When you drop an album, I don't know if you know how the algorithms of today's like stuff with Spotify and stuff works, but when you drop an album, you get to pick one single off that album to push out, to potentially be hit by algorithms, Spotify's editorial playlists, things like that. But with every single, you get a shot at that. So if you only release an album, you get one shot. Yeah. But if you release like 3 singles and then an album, that's 4 shots at getting that reach out that extra reach to get more fans, more people on board, you know?
And it allows you to build up off of each one too.
Yeah.
You're not just releasing a mass amount of material and hoping people latch onto it. We're kind of already trying to cater an audience at the start, because the people that latch on to the first song will then latch on hopefully to the second song, plus more, and then plus more again, right?
You get
like a
feedback,
snowball
right?
effect,
You drop
kind of.
one single, and then you get the feedback on that, and you can use that to apply towards your future in making the music, right?
Yeah.
So people love the song, so we keep doing what we're doing. If somebody says, hey, this wasn't as good, then we say, okay, why? And then we apply that feedback to future music we make, right? While still maintaining artistic integrity, of course, right?
Yeah. So we would say, rather than doing an album, just do a single. You've got like 8 songs that you can like grow and get instant hits with, hopefully, rather than if you just bring out one in one go, you only get one single from it to be highlighted.
Yeah.
So it actually works out better to do singles.
Yeah, exactly. So basically what the plan pretty much is to probably release 2 to 3 singles first.
Yeah.
Or maybe the third single along with the album. And then after the album's out and it starts to bubble back down again, because the reach of the album only lasts for like 2 to 3 months really with Spotify or with like any kind of digital outreach. Then you pop another single from that album you just dropped 2 months ago, and boom, you just rose the bar again, and you can hopefully get the pot bubbling again,
Yeah.
And hopefully this time next year we'll actually be able to play.
Yeah.
That certainly would help to get things out there a bit more.
Yeah.
What about on your other social? You doing anything on your YouTube channel, or is it literally just your video up there of your song at the moment? I've not checked.
We have a couple things up there from when we were doing our marketing campaign. We were just pretty much using the same posts that we were putting in our other socials on YouTube as well. It wasn't really gaining as much traction as like the other spots, but YouTube did gain some traction with the actual single itself.
Yeah.
I've got some ideas kicking around too for future YouTube content, just to keep people engaged. And
yeah, I just think it's another tool. If you're all like willing to put the effort into like in different platforms, you put you're likely to get more people the more effort you put into it. Like
Absolutely.
I hear like playthroughs and stuff like that are pretty good for your channel, and just even doing silly stuff to get people, make people watch it because it's fun and that kind of thing.
Well, that's sort of the way we've been doing things, like
Twitch.
Like me and the drummer are kind of going to handle and manage. Like we're going to start doing just Twitch streams, just as an extra way to interact with any audience that we could have, or people want to come by and just have a bit of fun. It's more just something to do. And like James manages the Instagram, and Nick manages the Spotify, and Andrew manages the Facebook. So we're all kind of like taking little aspects of all the social media stuff and spreading it around.
divide and conquer.
Yeah,
Right.
basically.
You don't want one person doing all the work,
Yeah.
right?
So if James pulls out his phone and says Instagram content, and then he just does that, and we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say I'm thinking of like the old days when it was like flyers and like putting an advert in a magazine. It's a lot easier nowadays to sort of get the name out there, but there's so many other bands that have the same tools that it's hard to be seen amongst the blinking multitude.
Well, I think that's where you get the difference in the bands. It's about taking advantage of what you have.
Yeah.
So we're trying to nail all of them if we can. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
you
it's-
don't know who's going to hear it or who's going to see what, and I mean, it's just an easier way to get a hold of people. You have to put it out there.
Yeah, as long as you keep the interest up and keep on maintaining the momentum, then you can. There's no reason you shouldn't fucking get your name out there all over the place. There's quite a lot of bands. You sort of message them, you don't hear nothing back for about 3 months. Like they're really not maintaining anything. It's like, but yeah, if you keep that up, I mean, are you been able to get like any? Like obviously, I played you on my podcast. Have you got lots of plays on radio, internet radio, and that? And have you got lots of interviews here and there online yet?
We got on a few different radio stations. Yeah, we've had a few people ask us if they want us to be put in their rotations. We get people messaging us fairly frequently, curious about that. So that's good. That bit of extra reach that gets us to another audience we wouldn't have reached otherwise.
Yeah,
right?
even if you're only getting 2 fans or 1 fan, or even like 6 listeners that even don't even become fans but hear your music and experience it, and maybe consider liking it down the road when there's more material.
Don't we have that wrestler guy too?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I think a big thing with us
got
too right now is we didn't expect this much.
Yeah.
No.
We're beyond excited that we are achieving this much off of this one song, but we didn't go into it with any preconceived notions. We knew it was good, and we knew we liked it, and we knew it was ready to share with people, but we didn't have any real, goals or aspirations with it. So the fact that it has kind of taken off to the point is where it has is just makes us even more excited to see it through to the end, right?
It's giving you extra impetus as well to sort of, once you do something and you get success for it, it makes you want to carry on doing more. If you put lots of effort in and get fuck all back, that's when you think, oh fuck it, and can't be bothered anymore. So long, it's nice to get some good positive feedback in that. What was you saying about a wrestler a second ago?
Yeah, I woke up one morning and the guys were messaging our group chat we have on Facebook that there's a small wrestling promotion from a few provinces away.
Okay.
One of the wrestlers is interested in using our song as his entrance music.
That's cool.
Cool as hell, right?
Yeah, he wants the instrumental version of it, but either way, it works.
Right.
It's
still good.
Yeah, I know. That's all right.
Still good. Hopefully get it out there a bit more.
Yeah. And that's also something we plan to do is to release instrumental forms of everything, because there are people that listen to this style of music that just don't like harsh vocals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not accessible to everybody.
Or the 16-bit versions of.
Yeah, and also I might be planning to release like a Super Nintendo version of the album as well.
That's crazy.
It's just gonna sound like a Mega Man game, but it'll be our songs.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of
You need to
Castlevania.
make an actual game of it there. You need to find someone to make a game of it. Ultimata is a good name for a bloody game. That would be interesting.
Hopefully, if there's any game devs watching now, hit us up.
That's a
Anyone
unique
wants to
idea.
turn 6 idiots into a fighting game, like
Yeah, you've already got a song called Fatality, or originally called Fatality.
That goes back to the prior name of the band.
Before we were Ultimata, we were actually Shao Kahn was our name of our band.
Yeah.
Okay, is he from the game? I don't recognise that name.
from
Mortal
Is he from
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat? Is he? Okay, yeah. I hated them blinking beat 'em up games. I'm shit at them. I just like it's like, oh, my hands are, my thumb's gonna fall off. I just stick to Fallout and Skyrim. That's my games.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Bethesda's are good games. Bethesda titles.
Yeah. So at the moment, so you fucking still in limbo with this COVID. You say it's not so bad in your area, but I mean, when are you just fit? I mean, who knows? When you got any plans for taking it on the road and getting it out there? I mean, have you got any actual battle plans? Or you cannot do anything until we know what the fuck's going on.
Well, there's actually people are playing shows again here now, but they're
limited
like
capacity.
limited capacity shows.
Yeah.
And I think it's 50% or a maximum of 100.
whichever's lower.
Yeah, whichever.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing for us right now is the main place that we could put our music out there is an 8-hour drive away.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to figure out, the math on getting everything over there at a rate where we can do it for right now, because where everything is half capacity, it kind of makes. You want to play the show, you really want to play the show, but it kind of doesn't make it worth going that far to play the show.
Yeah, you always have to rent an Airbnb for a week and then play a bunch of shows to make it even semi worthwhile.
Yeah.
Which when you got 6 guys, you can imagine in the best of circumstances.
But like you said, the Spotify checks aren't that big, right?
Yeah.
The Spotify check gets a little bigger. I mean, we can take it. But...
You have to get 10 million streams in you to get $10 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think we made $20 off our 10,000 streams.
Yeah.
How much, sorry?
Start selling pictures of my feet.
There we go. That's in now.
How much did you say you got from your streams?
I think we made close to $20 off our 10,000 streams.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
That's 5,000 streams is somewhere around $10.
Yeah.
Right. Not brilliant.
No, not the greatest.
We can all have a bag of chips.
Yeah, definitely not putting any food on the table.
I mean, that doesn't even pay for McDonald's for everybody.
No.
But has it been maintaining that? Is it still growing up? Is it still exponentially growing in
Not
streams?
like it was.
Or
We hit a huge spike there. We had 2,000 listens in one day.
Yeah.
Right.
But we are still hitting around 250 per day.
Right.
Which
So
is still pretty
respectable.
good. That's
Yeah, a lot of
pretty good
people will
organic
be
reach,
stoked with that. Yeah.
Yeah, we've already exceeded expectations, so this is just icing on the cake, right?
I was just satisfied with getting out of the less than 1,000 plays club. That's all I wanted. I was like, as long as we can get it less than 1,000, I'll be happy with life.
Yeah.
And then we went to 10,000, and I was like,
You started getting ideas like delusions of grandeur, and then it was like, oh, it slowed down again now. You was hoping the next
nice
day
to
it was
know
gonna be
that
like 10 million.
It's nice to know that it picked up.
Yeah.
People like it. The numbers show it, and that's. I mean, that's nice.
So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's more than a lot of people will achieve. You know what I mean? So you got to be happy with that already. But hopefully, it's not going to be the only highlight. Hopefully, there'll be a few more highlights in the future for you.
Yeah,
I hope so.
This is definitely just the start.
Yeah.
We're all very driven and committed to seeing this through. I think we're at least 3 albums before we hate each other.
Yeah.
You guys already.
Yeah, when you split up and start shit talking each other, come back on here and we'll do another interview like separately or whatever. You can talk about what an arsehole each of you are, or whatever. And right, so we've got 5 minutes to go. I can't think what to talk about now. So just I don't know. Fuck, my brain goes every now and again. I do an interview, my brain just goes. That's it. It's fucked.
Oh, so there's a lot to cover, really. But, we will have an album out in 2021. That's without a doubt. There will be a record. It's going to be sick. I think it's going to be sick. Maybe my opinion sucks. Maybe it will be shit.
I agree with your opinion.
Yeah.
Have you got a name for the album yet? Or you not decided?
No, we don't. It won't be Ass Eater.
No. Unfortunately.
Well, I think the teenage girl market needs Arse Eater. I'm pretty sure. if you want to get these young teeny boppers involved, Arse Eater is definitely the name for the album. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the in.
Yeah. Any label interest or anything like that? Or is it a bit too early for that kind of thoughts?
It's definitely a bit early for those kind of thoughts, but if I am not eager to jump into a label situation, but if the deal was right,
Yeah.
You never know, right?
No, I mean, with the right offer, of course you'd agree, but
I mean, $20 is $20.
Yeah, that's true, right? Supersized fries. I mean, that's hard to say no to, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things where, again, it'll be the 6 of us, and if we don't all agree on it, then it won't go ahead.
At the end of the day, if 4 of us want to do something, and the other 2 don't want to do it, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Right. And the other 2 will go along with it because of the majority rules.
Exactly.
It's a democracy.
And that's just how it goes, man.
You can't hold up stuff. I mean, if the majority of the guys want to do it, then who am I to say no and make that a hill to die on? That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Even if I don't think it's a good idea, I still have to respect the other guys enough to see it through. If that's what wants to be done.
If it fucks up afterwards, then you can say, "I fucking told you guys." I told you.
I'm
sorry, listen to me.
All of you assholes.
Yeah. All right, then we're gonna wrap it up now, guys. You want to just wrap out whatever you want to say? Any hellos, any goodbyes, any messages? All the links to all your pages are in the blog down below in the description. All the page links are there. All down below. I've got a blog post as well. You can check out.
We're on everything.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed the interview, anyone watching this, share it out to your friends. Go and like all this band's pages. Go and listen to their single. Get them a few more streams on Spotify. And I'll let you guys just say whatever you want to say to finish up. If you want to just go around, take it in turns.
So Newfoundland has a fantastic music scene. Few names to look up: Jim Jones and Kool-Aid Jammers. Winter Earth, they just dropped their album.
Yep.
Solid shit. Good stuff.
Yeah, very good shit.
The Skeets, fantastic band from St. John's as well.
That's with an A.
Yeah.
Right.
Anybody else got any bands?
Category 6. Check out Category 6. They're pretty cool. Female fronted metal. Good stuff.
Cool. Can I just say, any of those bands want me to play you on my podcast, just send me an MP3. The links are in the blog. Just send me an MP3 if you want to. And also, can you guys, I don't know if I asked you before, do me an intro for a future show. I'm always after show intros. Just hit me like a small MP3 saying, "Hey, we're fucking out, mate. Yeah, you're listening to High Speed Hangover podcast, and I can start a future show with it. I have to be voiced just again. Although I might introduce it as Arse Eater because I just think that's such a catchy title." Right, anyone else? You've got 2 more people who haven't spoken yet to give your goodbyes.
I don't talk to people.
He's solid, dude.
Cool. Yep. Nothing else said. But yeah, links are all below. Thanks for joining us. A good laugh. And hopefully, when you get the album, whatever, we'll have another crack at it if you guys are interested. And thanks.
This is great.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Yeah. Cheers, guys. All right. See you later, everybody.
Take care. See you, everybody.
Good.